What's going on, YouTube? Man, oh man. You want to talk about an emotional episode? It doesn't get much more emotional than a girl meets the bay window. I'm gonna try my best to not make this video that long, but I mean, goddamn. I just have so many things that I need to say, and you guys are gonna sit your little asses down and listen. I don't care if this video ends up being 45 minutes. You're gonna listen and enjoy every single minute of it. But anyways, where do I even start? Well, first of all, I have to give a lot of credit to the kid actors that played Maya and Riley, because I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest with you guys. I typically don't like kid actors, because usually even the decent ones, they just kind of make me cringe. I like watching great actors act, and anything below that just ruins the experience for me. Just being honest, but these kids actually did a pretty goddamn decent job. I don't think I cringed once during this whole episode. Well, actually I did, but not because of them, but we'll get to that later. But the kids were just downright adorable, and they did a fantastic job. Now let's talk about one of the Lucaya moments that I loved in this episode. Now the biggest Lucaya moment I'm gonna save towards the end of this video, but the way that Maya looked at Lucas when he said that Maya and Riley would tell him how they felt one day about him, yeah, I definitely rewinded that like 3 or 10 times, whatever, you know. But one thing that is beginning to bother me, you know, Lucas, you have an opinion that matters too, right? Why don't you tell them how you feel? It would probably make this whole situation a lot more simple. I'm just saying. Your feelings matter too, buddy, in case you forgot. But there was also a little Lucas moment in this episode when Lucas asked for his boot back and Riley refused to give it back to him. I'm not gonna say that was cute because I'm not a Lucas fan and I didn't really care, but I know for you Lucas fans out there, you probably found that pretty adorable. So I guess congratulations, but moving on. I also thought it was really hilarious how Lucas couldn't find any of his childhood pictures. In every picture that he looked at, he was like the same size he is right now. I definitely cracked up at that part. Now let's talk about where the waterworks started to happen. And that's when little Maya starts to tear up and cry about not knowing where her dad is. And then she calls Riley lucky for having parents that love each other. That was one of many very emotional parts in this episode. And we find out the real reason on why Maya is so torn up about this whole bay window situation, and why she really didn't want to change it. And it really all stems from her being really scared about losing her friends, and because of that she's really scared and doesn't want to go to high school. And the bay window was one of the few things that weren't changing, and Maya wanted to keep it that way. You know, there was just so much crying in this episode. I mean, I know I remember saying in one of my previous videos that I didn't want to see Maya crying again. And what do? You basically make an episode where Maya is like crying for like 75% of the episode. Or at least that's what it felt like to me. Oh, and by the way, those are the parts where I really cringed. I don't like watching people cry in general, but definitely not characters that I really care about. And while we're on the subject of crying, can we just talk about for a second just how easy crying seems to come for Rowan? Meaning that it doesn't seem like it takes her much effort to just have the waterworks flow. Now I guess that's just amazing acting, but it's just something that I noticed. And it's kind of different with Sabrina, because when she cries, it kind of looks like her head is about to explode or something. And that's no diss towards her, because it's obviously really believable if I can't watch it without getting choked up. But again, it's just something that I noticed. As you guys know, I think Sabrina is the better actor of the two. However, Rowan's acting skills are definitely improving, and she has been growing on me very, very fast. No doubt about it. But anyways, it was also really cool seeing how Maya met Riley, and she met her by randomly crawling through her window to get away from her parents arguing. And I think, but correct me if I'm wrong, she was also running away from home at the time too. I thought I remembered hearing that, but I could be wrong on that fact. But that was pretty cool and also pretty emotional. But what else is new with this episode? And another really emotional part was Maya and Riley looking at each other crying while their younger selves were sitting on their lap. I didn't start off wearing sunglasses when this episode came on, but by the time it was over, I definitely had on a pair of sunglasses because I had company over and I have a reputation to uphold as being a badass motherfucker. I can't be seen crying over TV shows. Not even when I was a 12-year-old boy was that acceptable, so it's definitely not now. But anyways, I digress. Now, the adult versions of Maya and Riley were only shown for like a minute, but that minute might have been the most important part of the entire episode. And let me tell you why. And that's because there was some big Lucaya foreshadowing, and there was also some big foreshadowing regarding Farkle and Riley. Now, if you look at the adult version of Maya, if you pay close attention to the shirt that she's wearing, you will see that that same shirt looks very similar to the cowboy shirt that Lucas was wearing in Girl Meets Texas. Now, on the flip side of that, if you look at the turtleneck-like shirt that the adult version of Riley was wearing, if you can remember, Farkle has worn shirts very similar to that in the past. Now, I know some people might want to say that this is a big coincidence, and when I say some people, I mean Ruckus shippers, obviously. But according to the producer of Girl Meets World himself, there is no such thing as a coincidence when it comes to this show. So I mean, whose word am I gonna believe? The producer or a few disgruntled Ruckus fans? I don't know about you guys, but I know who I'm believing. There is no way that this was done by accident. These guys know what they're doing. And by these guys, I mean the writers and the producers. And if this does end up being some big foreshadowing, like I suspect that it is, well, all I have to say to that is, very well done. But I've already been talking a lot longer than I wanted to, so let's go ahead and wrap this video up. This was definitely a great episode. Probably the first episode that I'm gonna rate above an 8 since, I wanna say Girl Meets Texas. So it's been a while, but I would probably give this episode a 9 out of 10. Definitely one of the better episodes of the season. And the fact that you added such a big Lucaya foreshadowing moment, well, that definitely helped the score a little bit. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode, and let me know what you guys would rate this episode. But I'm done talking. Make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. But as always, until next time.